goddamn first fucking place.
What? Okay, hold on. Take 2.
No, fuck that. If we're
Edit.
doing another take, I'm leaving.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Do the clap. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 158 of Ghosts in the Night.
The next time you hear that is going to be the cheeks of fucking OBS's creator clapping at my hands.
Yes. For those of you listening on your favorite podcast app, we've had
You're fucking lucky. That's what you are.
You did not join us for the cluster that was us trying to get live, because as always, we do these live.
Yeah, if you don't watch on YouTube or you're not subscribed, then you fucking just missed like 8,000 fucking million notifications of us going live and then turning it off over and over again while Phil goes, I don't fucking know.
I'm old fucking technology, but
you're better with this shit than I am. I don't know what I see. It's
Asian.
Yeah, but
you be amazing.
You know me well enough that not once did you look at me and go, "What do you think?" Because I would have been like, "Did you try unplugging it, and plugging it back in?"
I did that. I unplugged it. That just made it worse. All right, but tonight,
how would you rate your customer service representation with Travis tonight? There was none. Thank you.
All right. Yes, but we've had some technical difficulties. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast app, we do these live on YouTube on generally Mondays. Tonight we're doing it Tuesday because
there might be Tuesday for the foreseeable future, maybe.
So probably Tuesdays from here on out.
Well, actually, that might not be true. That might change.
But we are doing the what the fuck was I talking about? Okay, yeah.
The subject of the fucking show.
Well, no, I haven't even got to that yet. Jesus, God, we're all discombobulated.
Oh, that's the problem. My shoes are my slides are still on. That's why we're having all these problems.
Big words. I'm using big words here.
I'm wearing my donut socks. Let's do this.
If you are listening to this and you subscribe to our podcast feed, if you want to join us live and get the shenanigans and the really clusterfuck shit that goes on in our lives, join us at YouTube at Ghost in the Night. You can search it, find it.
I can't wait to get those lights. I just keep looking at this, and I feel like it's just going to help so much.
Yeah, be sure to subscribe.
New improved fucking shit coming soon. I'm sorry. I'm excited about that.
Oh, hey, you're the man.
I took all day. I made like a $500 cart of like a bunch of the same things, different versions, and then I whittled them down to like the most cost efficient with good ratings.
Cool.
So we got the 2 of those big fucking photography lights coming.
But we are doing tonight our topic for this live stream,
my dick. It's going to be a 2-minute episode.
It's already over.
It was over before you got here.
I know. Tonight we're doing the Salem witch trials.
Yeah,
this is
the most fucking confusing subject for something that everybody knows about,
but nobody really knows. They have such a misconception about this.
Well, no shit. It was fucking 330 years ago, first off.
Because most people think this is the ignorance of us here in America. Most people think this is the beginning. This was the breakoff point of witch hunts. No, this was toward the tail end of the West.
Yeah.
This is shit.
They'd pretty much died down in Europe by this time, other than like some outlying fucking dipshit areas.
Yeah, witch hunts actually started in Europe in the 1400s. And I heard reports, they estimate that anywhere between 40,000 and 100,000 people were executed in Europe.
That doesn't surprise me.
For being witches.
That doesn't surprise me at all. So, just look what the Romans did after the fucking, after they took over the Ottoman Empire, I think.
Yeah.
They put fucking heads on stakes from like, I don't even know, from somewhere else in the world all the way on the road to Rome.
Right.
Think about how many hundreds of thousands of people. Like, it's not that surprising.
I know.
The Spanish Inquisition, the fucking pretty much everything human beings have ever done ever ends in a shitload of death.
Right. So this was the tail end of the witch hunts across the globe. We here in America these were the colonies, really. Well, I don't even think they were. Yeah, I guess technically they were.
They were colonies.
They had charters, but this was the tail end of it, and things got freaking nasty. Things got weird, and there's been a lot of speculation on why this happened. But the Salem witch trials were a series of hearings, and executions of people accused of witchcraft in the colonial Massachusetts between February of 1692 and I heard May
is what I saw
1860. 1693. 14 women and 5 men were hanged.
See, I saw a higher number than that. I
Uh,
saw 25 total.
I heard 20.
I heard at least 20, and then I saw a number that said 25.
But actually, 25 includes there were 5 people that died in jail.
So 27, including the 2 dogs.
Well, we'll get to the dogs. This is what pisses me off about it. And then one man died. We'll get to him. He did not get. He did not
just
get
died.
hanged. He got
He just
crushed.
died for no reason.
But so,
just like all the other ones.
But actually, I believe I heard 2 numbers of people that were accused. Anywhere from 150 people were accused to 200 people were accused.
I saw over 200.
Right. But I heard both those numbers. So who knows how many people were actually accused of shenanigans and calling on Satan to help them put spells on their neighbor.
All of them.
Or to fuck with these little girls.
Well, I did see one of the bullshit fucking reasons that they said might have been weighing on the heads of these colonialists was in 1684, King Charles II revoked the Massachusetts Bay Colonies royal charter, taking away their permission from the crown to colonize the area.
Right.
Because they broke rules such as basing laws on religion, and discriminating against Anglicans, which is fucking counterintuitive anyway.
Right.
You can't make laws around based on religion, but you also can't be mean to Anglicans, to Anglo-Saxon people.
Right.
Well, not Anglo-Saxon, but
now,
yeah.
But there's a lot of shit going on. It was a bad time.
They try, but at the same, that doesn't fucking like hardship and fucking being hard up on money doesn't fucking excuse this shit.
Right. But I want to get into that. Maybe we're going to get into that in this episode because there's a lot of reasons why this happened. I believe it's
you
just
give your kids bad cereal.
It's just not a matter of witches and tomfoolery. I think it's very complex. I think people have dumbed this down and made it.
I mean, my theory is not that complex, but
I think there was a lot. It was a perfect powder keg of things to go wrong for this mass hysteria to take place. Like you said, they had their charter revoked. There was, but they
people were hard up for money. People, like, food was a problem.
Mm-hmm.
They were worried about getting attacked by the natives.
And this was kind of the French.
The war
had just ended,
so people were coming down from Canada.
Right. Like we said, they were all worried about skirmishes with the Native Americans.
So what do? Witches.
And this was I believe it's called the Baby or Little Ice Age. This was the coldest winter on record up to this point.
Yeah, that was probably Mother Earth going, get the fuck out of here, assholes.
They were freezing to death. So these people were not in a good mindset. They had a lot of shit going on. There's a lot of uncertainty in their lives.
Also, we can whittle that down even easier and say that they weren't in the right mind state because, let's be real, they were Puritans.
Right. Salem.
That's your first problem.
Salem was actually founded in 1629 by people who came over that were
on the Mayflower. That was a gun.
Don't shoot.
That was definitely a gun.
That was definitely a gun.
That was close too.
Yeah, that was just right down the street.
Yeah.
It was founded by Puritans who came over from England because
that'll get us some views. Like, we're just like, they just.
They came over from England because they did not necessarily agree with the Anglo-Saxon church or whatever. They thought they were too close to the Catholicism, and the Puritans loved them some Bible, and they were. I mean, they lived it. They were the no fun league. They were the NFL of the 1600s. They did not.
Yeah, and then they came to America, which ended up being the XFL.
Yes, but they had a hard life. They believed that they were big on Satan. If anything went bad,
it was Satan.
It was Satan. Satan was.
I mean, much like it is now. It's just not to quite an extreme level,
right?
If you will.
So.
Cool.
Where was I at? Oh, it was founded. But like I said, like we talked about earlier, they were always under threat. The village was actually divided. Salem was actually 2 towns essentially: Salem Town and Salem Village. Now, Salem Town were
the gangs.
Yes, West Side Story.
What are you doing on my side of Salem, boy?
But Salem Town were the merchants. They were closer to the sea. They were a seaport. They had more of the interactions with England.
They're pirates,
right? but they were the wealthy. Now the village was, I think, about 2 miles away.
That's usually how it happens. The closer you are to the
Right.
water back then, the more money you had.
So they were more farmers and
Well,
much
it's still a thing.
more poor.
Yeah.
They were the poor folk. That it was the ghetto. Village
In the
Salem Village was the
ghetto?
ghetto. So there was a clash there. There was a social class. You know, the rich didn't like the poor didn't like the rich.
Yeah.
You know, and they were, I believe, the village was getting, they supplied a lot of the food and they were getting taxed. You know, this is big taxation without representation back in those days. A little early, but that's okay. But and there was also, now they were still Puritans, but the village wanted their own church. And if I believe a character that we will be discussing here shortly is Reverend Parrish, who is a key player in this
Yeah.
fucking trial.
I'm listening. I'm
He
just trying to
was
go back in
the-
my notes to answer Tyler's question.
He was the reverend of what they wanted the new church in village, because let's face it, back in those times they had to walk to the town to go to that church, so they wanted their own church. So they didn't have to walk 2 hours to church on Sunday, and they loved them some church. God love them.
Yeah. Just sidebar.
Yeah.
No, Rockterio's dad was not technically a Puritan. They were devout Catholic, and then he joined the White Berets, a militant Catholic group.
So basically, times were, Salem was rough living. There was tensions were on high, like we just spoke about. It was a powder keg of something was about to blow off. The cops are even coming.
Oh God!
Hopefully maybe we'll get arrested live on.
I told you what was gonna happen. You fucked my brother again, Jim Bob Joe June.
So basically, in February of 1692, shit started popping off. And I know you got a lot of notes on this, but I'll kind of cover how it basically started. In February, a 9-year-old by the name of Betty Parrish and her cousin Abigail Williams, age 11, and they were Betty was the daughter of Reverend Samuel Parrish, and Reverend, and Abigail was his niece. Where Abigail's parents, but that's a whole other issue. They began having fits.
Very well, mate. We may have just been dead back then.
Right. They began having fits, seizures, and weird body contortions. Their girls screamed, threw things about the room,
hide under furniture,
uttered strange sounds, if I could speak, and crawled under furniture. What was I? I was watching something about that. Didn't we do a podcast where somebody was?
Annalise Michelle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, maybe these girls were possessed. They weren't witches.
Or schizophrenic.
Maybe. But these girls complained about being pinched.
Oh, yeah, they're rolling deep.
Yeah, they're getting.
This live stream might turn from a Salem Witch Trials podcast to a live PD.
Yes.
I will hold that fucking webcam in the window and be like, as you can see, Tim, they are tackling the man because he will not comply with their orders. This is shocking, you see, because he is white.
Okay, back. The girls complained of being pinched and pricked with little pins. Now, obviously, Reverend Samuel was worried about his girls.
Yeah.
They had a doctor come in, Mr. William Griggs.
I got some shit about him.
Okay.
Probably the same stuff you
He looked at the girls and he couldn't find not a damn thing wrong with these girls physically. So he basically told the Reverend, this must be the work of the devil, or they must be bewitched, because I can't find nothing wrong with them. And this is where things started popping off. What do you got?
Well, let's see. First off, I think it's funny that they gave him a name.
Who?
The Afflicted Girls.
The Afflicted Girls.
Which was a bigger group than I thought it was going to be. That was Elizabeth Booth, Elizabeth Hubbard, Mercy Lewis, Betty Parrish, Ann Putnam Jr.
I believe those came along after.
That was the kickoff.
Well, these two kicked it off, and these girls joined the fun,
which we'll get to later. That's part of my fucking theory on this whole goddamn thing. But yeah, so Dr. Dick Fuck just came along, started throwing out bullshit assumptions, and then two of the girls said they named the women that had bewitched them.
Right.
And those women were Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne.
Oh, don't forget those.
And the South American or native
Caribbean. Barbados.
Barbadan fucking slave of Reverend Samuel Parrish,
Tituba.
who named Tituba.
Tituba. Now, funny thing about Tituba,
Titty Tubas.
she was basically in charge of watching these girls. Now, anybody from Barbados knows, I'm sure. Now, I'm just me speaking. This probably a little voodoo shit going on down there. You know, the Caribbean.
Yeah.
A little voodoo shit. So she was
True.
watching these girls, and I believe these two girls, the original two girls, kind of was doing some kind of ritual type stuff where cracking. Did you hear about this? Cracking egg yolks in water, and they form a thing, and it, like to predict their future. Who am I going to marry? Who's the first boy's going to tickle my clitoris? You know, that kind of thing. I guess one of them saw a coffin, but apparently Tituba was kind of played along with this kind of shit. So that is probably why she
she was the cool babysitter.
Right.
Slave.
And plus she was of darker. Racism was a thing back then.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that definitely had something to do with Tituba getting caught up in this shit. Just she's different color than me, that fucking bitch.
Which is kind of not the outsider aspect of this is, which we'll get to, it'll be prevalent throughout this episode. The outsider aspect played a big role in this.
Everybody.
Right. Everybody.
Well, I mean, it's just like I have that fucking Sarah Good. Sarah Good was like basically poor and pregnant, and was known to go around the town begging for anything door to door while her husband was out as a day laborer.
Right.
Which is just not good money. And then Sarah Osborne was she was accused for tormenting and scorning kids instead of leading them down the path of salvation.
Yeah.
So what, you're the only the only way you can fucking correct a kid is if it's like, stop it, little Timmy, or Jesus won't like you anymore.
That's pretty much what they did.
Stupid.
But like these two girls and how it started, the other girls picked up on this. From what I read, Tituba or Titty Tuba,
Titty Tubas.
She was the first to be arrested because naturally things don't change.
Because she weren't white.
Take the woman of color first. Just back then it was a black woman. Today it's black men.
Yeah. Well, and she like you said, she confessed that her, Sarah Osborne and Sarah Good, had agreed to do the Satan's bidding as witches after he approached them to that sign this book. Signing the book was the big fucking
but
thing.
Let's be completely honest. This wasn't like immediate. She was basically, let's be honest, tortured for 5 days, interrogated for 3 to 5 days. And naturally, you're going to, as we know from Guantanamo Bay, interrogations and torture does not work.
Oh yeah, amongst other places, Guantanamo Bay, fucking what is it? The place off, like it's like 200 miles off the coast of India. There's just a fucking island that we basically rent from the UK to take people there and torture. We have, I think there's a theoretically, or it's a real thing, but I think that the theories say that there's 17 U.S. warships that are just travel about and they just hold fucking prisoners of war and shit like that on them.
But we all have our breaking points. Everybody, I don't care how tough you fucking think you are. I'm pretty tough, but I have my breaking point. Eventually, you're going to get me to you do enough damage, do enough torture, you're going to get anybody.
Well, I mean,
admit to anything.
Yeah, because especially back with this shit, because it was either you're going to admit to it or you're going to fucking die. Because they did the dunking where they put you in a chair and they drop you in the fucking water.
We haven't got to that part yet.
That was basically just full body waterboarding.
Right. She was just, I think she was actually kind of intelligent.
Most of the people that admitted to it didn't get fucking more people that didn't admit to it were executed than people that copped to it.
Well, that was a big thing. Like I said, we're jumping a little bit ahead. Basically, if you admitted to it,
you're probably better off.
You survived.
Yeah.
Tituba never died. She got out a couple months later and said, go about your way.
Or if you were just fucking a gangster, you just ran, because I saw a list of like fucking 12 or 15 names of people that just fucking, 2 guys evaded arrest, and then like 10 or 15 people just escaped from prison, and like that was it.
Yeah. But that was kind of the MO. If you admitted to, they said, okay, repent and promise you never do it again, and they took your land but let you live. That was pretty much the MO. And that place,
which is fine back then, because like all you got to do is disappear into the woods and then go claim more land.
But that place,
and be like, I took it from a red Indian man. it's mine now, and they'll be like, good for you, man, that's awesome, fuck that guy that was there with his family for 200 years.
And that would play into the name, which I'm sure you'll talk about, Giles Corey, the man who was crushed. He never admitted to it, so they couldn't have a trial. And he did that. Well, we'll talk about it. You don't have to stick around for that. But
that's what we were talking about. It's so easy to just jump chronologically
right.
in this fucking story.
But there.
But I do have, within the month of all that happening with Titty Tubas, 4 other women were arrested and accused.
They all started singing like a canary.
Another good Rebecca Nurse, who comes up later, I do believe. Yes. And Rachel Clinton, but she was of Ipswich. Because another common misconception, all of this shit was not just Salem. But it was Salem, Ipswich, and somewhere else.
Yeah, it was almost like a county thing. It spread. This was really, I think was it I think the name of the county was whatever it sound had that British sound.
Cockboy County.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid goddamn idiots.
But like we talked,
county.
Sarah Good.
Why? What the fuck?
Sarah Good was interesting. She was an outsider. She was poor, like you said. And even her husband
snitched on her.
It kind of said, well, you know what? Maybe she could be a witch. Of course, or he could have just been hard of hearing, and he thought they were saying bitch.
Or, I mean, realistically, I saw this shit because multiple people snitched on their significant others. I'm like, yeah, if you saw what the fuck they were doing to them, I bet you a lot of people would.
And if your significant other or family member was accused, there are multiple, in her family accusing.
Yeah, I also enjoy that there was so much misconception that nobody was actually burned at the stake.
Well, they didn't do that.
Right. That was exclusively for men who committed high treason, and they burned them after they hanged them, quartered them, and did something else to them.
Right. That was a misconception of witches being burned at the stake. That's Hollywood shit.
Yes.
But speaking of good, let's go ahead and get into this, because Sarah Good's not even the saddest part of this fucking story. Her husband snitching her out, basically saying, "Yeah, bitch is crazy. She's a witch." That's not even the worst part of that story.
Go on.
The worst part of that story, these cock munching motherfuckers, and I said that, and I will stand by that, arrested their daughter, Dorothy Good.
Dorothy Good, the 4-year-old?
The 4-fucking-year-old daughter.
And kept her locked up for 8 months. And who... See, this is what we're talking about. This is why people are always like, why do you have such a strong opinion of religion? Track it. If you are on board with religion 100% from its inception, you are fucking stupid.
Trust me, I'm going to go on a rant because there's a lot of...
they lock up a 4-year-old girl for 8 months, and then eventually she straight says she agrees to what they want to hear, only on the basis that she wants to see her mom again, and she's under the misconception that she would see her mom if she told them what they wanted to know.
Wasn't Sarah Good pregnant? Was she the one that was pregnant? They gave birth. And she gave birth while she was in prison. That's why
they probably killed that thing.
I don't think so. Actually, they waited to hang her, but they couldn't hang her right away because they were.
Yeah, she got a reprieve from execution because she was pregnant.
Yeah, so they obviously have a heart for a newborn.
Like we're not going to kill you with a baby inside you, but we're going to lock up your 4-year-old toddler for fucking 8 years.
So these were
8 months. That's literally like almost a quarter at 4. You hear about these like 50-year-old men that be like, man, I've been down for 25 years. I've been half my life in prison. And then like she's out there playing with the stick in the ring running down the street, and they're like, what have you been doing with yourself, little girl? And she's like, motherfucker, I've spent damn near a quarter of my goddamn 4-year life in the motherfucking prison system. Now give me my goddamn ramen noodles before I shank the fuck out of you and steal your goddamn shower shoes.
So they got a bunch of 4-year-old with a bunch of jailhouse tats.
Yeah, dude, like she just went in all innocent. She came out fucking throwing dice with a gold tooth.
That's stereotype.
She got the teardrop fucking tattooed under her eye and a fucking hourglass on her bicep.
Yeah. Yes, but that's just shows the depravity and how deranged these fuckers are. And I will get into a little bit toward the end when we kind of summarize everything, because we know I don't hide my disdain for religious fanatics.
Yeah.
And that is what this is. a religious
Well, they're
fanatic.
Puritans.
That
They're one of the groups that is a perfect exemplification of what is wrong with religion,
and I'll go ahead
or
and say,
how religion can be executed in the wrong way, if you will. That's a little more of a politically correct way
Right.
for me to say it.
I'll go ahead and say this about it. Oh, well, fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh,
Something about dildos.
obviously every one of these fuckers should have dildos shoved up their ass sideways.
They needed to.
But no, that wasn't it. What was a fuck? Oh, damn it.
They needed to be Wreck-It Ralph fisted to death.
Oh, it'll come back to me, I'm sure, when I start on my end.
Where were we?
Oh,
did you see what the historian said about Thomas Putnam and Reverend Samuel Parrish? They believed that they were behind all this shit just to get rid of people they didn't like.
Yeah, because that was a lot of these people that were, I want to say, indicted or accused of being witches had beef with the Putnams. The Putnams were a cockbag family, apparently.
Well, because the following month, that April, way more women got accused and some men got thrown in there.
Yeah.
John Proctor, fucking who was the one guy? There was a Reverend George Burroughs.
That was one they went and got, wasn't he? He didn't even live there at the time. They went and got his ass.
Yeah,
they extradited him back to Salem. But
I do have an interesting one after that. Go ahead.
What was that? But there was a lot of one of these ladies. I forget. Maybe it was Clinton. She was actually suing, I believe, the Putnams of her land.
Dude, there's literally there was so many families in this that had so much shit going on.
One of the ladies that was accused was actually suing the Putnams, I believe, or another family. But
which is funny because they ended up getting fucking accused too.
That's the kind of shenanigans that were going on in this town. Now,
it's pretty much like it was kind of like anybody that stirred up any type of trouble. They were like, "You're a witch, put them in jail."
And if you didn't agree with them, then you must be a witch as well.
Well, you're at the front of the line now.
You're going straight to the gallows.
Listen here, cockknuckle. We're gonna fuck you to death with the Bible.
Go ahead. We're pretty much at the good.
Well, and then I got to that April was when they started arresting men as well, and then May, Governor William Phipps set up the Court of Oyer and Terminer, which is to hear and determine, and is specifically for those cases because there were so many of them. And the Court of Oyer and Terminer is a type of court in English law established to hear cases of extraordinary and serious nature.
Right.
So they enacted a new court to handle this fucking bullshit.
Yes. But like what we were talking about, there was a lot of people and multiple people in the family that were accused. Just like we talked about, Proctor got accused. His servant, Mary Warren, she also got accused. And here's the funny thing. She was a sometimes accuser and witness. But they went ahead and accused her ass too.
Yeah, everybody that ended up getting accused of this shit was already involved in it somehow.
Right. So nobody was really safe in this shit.
Did you see about the pre-trial examinations?
They
They were held at. You ready for it? They were held at the Salem Village Meeting House. Fine.
Okay.
Reverend Samuel Parrish's house.
Okay.
No. At a reverend's house.
Well,
okay, and then the Ingersoll Tavern and Beatles Tavern.
Hey, if you're going, at least you could have a drink, have some ale.
I don't think that's how it worked because that was also a thing.
They didn't.
There was like outstanding. Well, no, yeah, they did. But there was
the Puritans. How could you fucking drink?
Not all of them. And plus, because there's never been a rule breaker ever. But no, there was also that. I can't remember who it was, but there was also this whole back and forth about like outstanding tabs at taverns and shit like that.
Norm, you better pay your fucking tab. Yeah, shit ton of people were charged.
Oh, and then I also had that. If you were indicted after these pre-examinations, then you weren't allowed a lawyer, and you had to decide if you were going to plead guilty or not guilty with no legal counsel.
Let's be honest.
You were barred from having legal counsel.
Due process was not big in the colonial times.
Clearly,
we did not have the Bill of Rights yet.
Like
we were 100 years away or so.
Did you know how much fucking money Johnny Cochran would have made?
If the scarlet letter doesn't fit, you must have quit.
Literally
If the
anything.
broomstick doesn't fit your ass,
I would have been a lawyer back then. I'd just walk in and be like, this woman is innocent. What proof do you have? I love Jesus more than you. How do you know that? Can you tell me otherwise? No, you cannot.
Well, let's go ahead and get into.
I plead. I rest my case.
Let's go ahead and get to some of these. You spoke about it, the tests that they were due to
Oh
prove.
God, where do we want to start?
Let's do my favorite, the touch test. This is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
A lot of these fucking judges.
Is this the one with the devil's teat?
Well, no, that's
The
marking.
prick test
No,
or whatever.
This is where they said, okay, to prove you are a witch or not a witch, I want you to go test the afflicted. Go touch the afflicted.
Oh yeah, because they did it with dogs too.
Right. Well, we'll get to the dogs, but that was the whole witch cake thing. But yeah,
we'll get into that.
But go touch the afflicted, and if they scream, you're a fucking witch.
Yeah.
So go touch whatever Abigail Williams or whatever the fuck that little twat's name was.
Yeah, fuck all those girls.
If she jitters or screams, you're a fucking witch.
Yeah.
For one, the bitch already accused her.
Yeah.
You think she's going to forget that shit? Now, what's funny is a lot of these judges and high-ranking people, this is Massachusetts. They went to Harvard. These were Harvard-educated motherfuckers.
Yeah, but these were Harvard-educated people.
In the 1692.
Yeah.
Where was...
That's like going to fucking... I feel like that's like having 2 credit hours from the University of Phoenix.
That's it. That's like 2 credit hours at Trump University.
Right. Like, what was Harvard like in 1692? Well, we learned our pluses and minuses, and then we studied the Bible for a quarter, and then we graduated. And now I am the highest ranking member of the Supreme Pizza Courts.
I'm just saying, where the fuck is the common sense?
It's 1692. That didn't expect. It's 1692 in Puritan Massachusetts. Right. That didn't fucking exist.
Another one, what you were talking about, the body.
I have more common sense.
Were body markings. They stripped you down and looked for body
markings. The devil's teat?
Either for a third nipple where the devil or your familiar would suck your teat.
Yeah.
Or birthmarks, a mole.
In the right place.
What if a fucking redhead got accused?
Right?
Freckles all over the place.
Or like even me, like I have a lot of freckles. Most people just don't notice it.
Or a birthmark.
Yeah.
What if you have a birthmark of a penis on your ass?
Well, then I need to be friends with you.
But that's the kind of shit that's one of the tests.
Like the swimming test?
The floating, and where they would tie, I heard they tie one hand to the opposite foot and throw you in the water. And here's the kicker. If you sunk,
you were innocent.
You were innocent. But if you floated, stayed, you were which, because, and the premise of these brilliant brain science, rocket science, Elon Musk wannabe motherfuckers, the thought was, if you did not sink, the water was rejecting you because of baptism. Mm-hmm. Has nothing to do with buoyancy, you dumb motherfuckers.
Well, I mean, this was like right at the beginning of the Age of Enlightenment too. Like people were just starting to not be fucking morons.
So to summarize, either you're going to drown if you're innocent or be hung if you floated.
Yeah, up to this point, like it's not that surprising, because up to this point it was like the biggest thing that was ever, basically the biggest things that ever happened up to that point were the Romans making irrigation and running water, which was not in any way related to anybody involved in this. And then other than that, the biggest fucking breakthroughs were in weaponry.
Right. But I mean, it's a lose-lose.
Yeah.
You win, you lose.
Well, then they had dunking, but that was a torture thing to get them to confess.
Right.
They would tie them to a chair and just dunk them up and down and let them up just enough to get in breath until they said they did it.
One of my other favorite ones was reciting the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah, because witches can't say that.
Because witches can't say that. It said a witch wouldn't be able to say it. So one motherfucker, I forget which guy it was. There was an actual...
Right, like, how does that fucking work? Are they just like, which one's the Lord's Prayer?
What was it? What?
Which one's the Lord's Prayer?
Our Father who art...
Yeah, what do they just get to a certain point? Our Father who art in...
Well, apparently what...
They just start sounding like a fucking fat old guy taking a shit.
The Reverend you talked about, they went and got...
Yeah. He said it, and they're like... There's no wayeth that heeth can sayeth that prayereth.
And you had to say it perfectly with no...
I'd be fucked.
Well, I could.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
Well, of course, they've changed it now.
Give us this day our daily bread and deliver us from evil. Why do I actually know that? I think it's from movies.
Oh, we had said it every Friday night before football games, and then I went to a Roman. I played football.
I think it was just from movies.
I played football at a Catholic college, so I was saying this shit in my sleep. I think it was in the fight song. Even
give us each day our daily bread, and when my mom leaves, I'll give the preacher head.
Because God really gives a fuck about Friday football, high school football. Anyway,
hey, Lucas Black from the Friday Night Lights movie would disagree with you. I'm just trying to get out of this town, man. My mom's drunk all the time. Fucking my fullback's drunk all the time. But Boogie hurt his fucking foot, and now the kid with the fake Nikes is running my ball.
The reverend that actually recited the Lord's Prayer perfectly, they still hung him. They said, "Oh fuck!"
They should just, right before he says the last word, somebody just fucking shoots him with a musket, and they're like, "He didn't finish it."
On a positive note, the whole town wasn't behind this. There were people starting to say, "What the fuck?"
Well, there always were, but they shut the fuck up. But the longer it went, the more people started to come out of the woodworks, especially when that Dorothy Good thing, Dorothy Good and Giles Corey. Giles Corey was, I guess, the real turning point when people were like, "Wait, this is some fuck shit."
Yeah, but even when the Reverend said that and they still hung him anyway, they kind of like that. Wait a minute, he passed the test, and you still hung him?
Yeah.
But that's something. Let's get into the. I don't really give a fuck about the 25 people that died. Fuck them. I don't give a fuck. The fucking dog. They killed 2 dogs for being witches. Oh. Let's talk about that bullshit. How do you?
Well, I can also throw in about John Proctor.
Yeah.
Because he was a farmer and just a normal ass dude. He didn't buy into any of this bullshit and called the girls scam artists. What? The original girls. And then guess what happens? John Proctor, his kids, his wife, and his pregnant wife, that was what's her goddamn stupid fucking name?
Mrs. Proctor.
And her sister-in-law were all ended up being accused.
Right.
Because of this shit.
Right.
And I do what we can. I will start it off. The first person to go to trial was Bridget Bishop, which I have this. This was starting with the originals. Abigail Williams, Ann Putnam Jr. I still have an arrow next to that says, "What the fuck?" I had no idea that female juniors were ever a fucking thing.
That's yeah, I saw that.
There's another great fucking name we'll get in here later, but you know who I'm talking about. Mercy Lewis. Huh?
CM?
No.
No.
Are we talking about initials?
Yeah.
DH. Don't worry. It'll come up. Okay. I got it. But Mercy Lewis, Mary Walcott, and Elizabeth, what was that? Who gives a fuck? She was a bitch. Said that Bishop physically hurt them and tried to get them to sign the devil's book.
Right.
Now, during trial, Bridget Bishop claimed her innocence, and said her exact words. Well, I don't know if it's exact words, but this was a quote that I saw. I am innocent. I know nothing of it. I have done no witchcraft. I am as innocent as the child unborn. Good quote, but bullshit. You are not as innocent as the unborn child, bitch. You've thought about at least one pecker in your fucking life. Do not compare yourself to the sweet babies of the world. Now, Bishop consequently was convicted and hanged on June 10th of 1692.
Obviously, they didn't buy her bullshit.
Yeah. Clearly her poetic words did no fucking good.
Right.
I hope I didn't already pass up that fantastic fucking name that I was talking about. I don't think I did. I've got several lists of names. There's so many fucking names in this goddamn thing. Oh, maybe I did. Where is it? Where is it? It's the best name in the whole fucking thing.
This is a clusterfuck.
Well, there's Cotton Mather.
Yeah, which,
who was basically just a fucking author.
Right, and he actually, story goes, he was before all this, he was handing out pamphlets about, witchcraft and shit. So he almost maybe planted the seed a little bit. And I did hear it toward the end. He was like, "Damn, maybe I shouldn't have fucking done that. Maybe I kind of should have them damn pamphlets."
There's just so many fucking names on this thing. Is this it? There it is. There it is.
Oh,
Dorcas Whore.
What?
Dorcas Whore. Dorcas Whore, H-O-A-R.
I have a Deliverance Hobbs.
There's a Deliverance High. I also have Deliverance Hobbs. Bang down, 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 down. Oh, hear you squeal, boy. But no, there was a Dorcas Whore.
I would never call a whore Dorcas.
Dorcashor. Dorcas Whore.
I'm sure.
So her last name is Whore. And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that a dork is a whale penis.
I think you are correct.
Yeah, so she was a multiple whale penis whore.
Whatever floats your boat.
Whale dicks whore.
That beats the hell out of it.
Does that mean she's a whore for whale dicks?
Yes. Beats the hell out of a donkey show.
That sucks. Have you ever seen a whale dick?
No.
A blue whale penis is longer than I am tall. And they can ejaculate up to 20 liters of semen at a time.
The more you know.
Yeah. I forget the distance with which they theorized that a blue whale could ejaculate if it was not in water. I went down a rabbit hole at one point in my life.
Well, you went
Another interesting whale fact. Did you know that sperm whales are the loudest animal in the world? And they theorized that if a sperm whale fully vocalized at a human, it could potentially kill them. Anyway. So yeah, Dorcas Whore. What else needs said?
Which woman?
And then there's this one. This one bothered me. Lydia Dustin. You have two names, and they're two different genders of names. Sorry, sexes. Well, no, that's I can say two different genders there. Because I'm assuming gender neutral names weren't a thing back then, or they were, and they just didn't realize it. This is my fourth daughter. She's lovely. We're putting her into the bowl this weekend. Her name is Mark. Where's our son? Cecilia. Bring your huge cock down to breakfast. Your sister Peter's already down here eating all the bacon.
Which one of the accused witches actually beat the rap? Did you hear that story? But then
all of them eventually, but
no, one of them actually was found not guilty. But apparently these little twats, girls, these little spoiled little brats.
Oh, I do have that.
Through a hissy fit.
Right here. It's Rebecca Nurse.
Oh yeah,
Rebecca Nurse.
Yes.
Who she was because she was a weird one because she was well respected and well liked.
Yes.
In the community.
Yes.
So I do have that.
Good church going.
Yeah, the members of the community actually signed a petition to get Rebecca Nurse released, and when she wasn't, they were just confident that she would be not guilty and released. Excuse me. Rebecca Nurse was initially found not guilty, but when the verdict was read, the afflicted girls started to have fits in the courtroom, and because of that, the judge, Judge Stoughton, I wrote that down, had the jury reconsider, and then she was declared guilty.
Right.
And Rebecca Nurse's execution, she was executed on July 19th.
So basically,
and that's when everybody in Salem was like, "This shit's not kosher, bruh."
Yeah, there's something funky in Denmark. But
yeah,
you are not jury. Have you reached the verdict? Not guilty, Your Honor.
Well, then the next
are
big
you
one,
sure not guilty?
Yeah, just because some dumb little bitches in the corner were like,
jury, go back and rethink this.
Like, the fuck, you fucking twat waffle pieces of shit.
I know. First, here's I'm going to go ahead and say this. Listen, well, we talked about the original accusers, 9 and 11. I have. Why in the world? What?
Say that again.
911, 9/11.
The original
9/11.
Accusers of the Salem witch trials, 9/11. 9/11. Where's Gonzo? 9/11 was an inside job. John Proctor did 9/11.
Case fucking closed.
If I'm dead tomorrow, it was the government.
No, what was that?
They're gonna magic bullet me like JFK.
Okay. Why in the fuck did they take the word of this 9-year-old and this 11-year-old? And I think one of them. I mean, I think the oldest one was like 15.
Are we gonna get into opinions now? Because I mean, I have more notes, but not like.
No,
I guess I have more than I thought.
Why in the world did they? I mean, I don't put stock in fucking kids. Listen,
any kid, especially like that fucking, what was her name, Bridget, or not Bridget, Dorothy.
Yeah,
especially like that, like a 4-year-old, a 9-year-old. Yeah, no shit. The 4-year-old told you what you wanted to hear so she could see her fucking mom again.
Yeah, but
yeah, of course, young girls, young children in general are going to be a little fucking whoop. They're gonna be like, hey, is your mom a witch? And she's gonna be fucking playing with her doll, like, yeah, I like turtles.
I mean,
And they're gonna be like, well, that's all I needed.
I don't want the opinion of anybody under the age of 21.
And even then,
I actually more along the lines of 25.
yeah,
Your brain's
and
not even fully
even
developed.
then, it's probably 50-50 if
And-
I know them.
And actually, we're all fucking idiots. I was an idiot.
Yeah.
When I was a kid.
Yeah.
I'm
still a fucking idiot.
I'm still learning. But the difference is I have some life experiences. And actually, I think you're never grown up until you have kids. If you don't have kids, part of me wants to say, I don't want to hear your opinion because you don't know what responsibility is yet. There's a difference. Like you, 31. You have some, you know about responsibility, but you don't have kids because you have a life experience. But having kids is another level of responsibility.
Well, I think there's a difference in that. Like, if somebody were to come to me and be like, I'm having your child in 6 months, I don't think much about me personality wise would change that much.
You think that right now.
Personality wise, lifestyle wise, yes.
You think that right now, but that the minute that kid comes out, your life fucking changes.
Yeah, my lifestyle would, but I'd still be like, well, I'll be sitting there, and after they throw up, spit up on me, you're like, you're a fucking dick, dude.
No, the whole way you view the world changes. It's unless you're a psychopath.
I don't know. I feel like it'd kind of stay the same. It'd just be more passionate towards that person. I'd be like, I hate everybody except the people I don't hate.
No, because
and now I hate everybody except the people I don't hate, and I still hate those people a little bit compared to this little person.
I mean, your whole life, you are the center of your universe until you have kids. Once you have kids, you don't matter anymore. And your attention and your will and your why you do things changes. You're no longer selfish. You least, in theory, it's not a 100% rule. Let's be honest.
Say, fuck that. My kids are gonna have full-time jobs by the time they're 9.
That's a whole level of responsibility that I think you. It's a life experience. It's responsibility. If you're fucking under the age of fucking, like I said, I'll give you 21 at this point. I don't want your fucking. That's why I told my daughters, this ain't a fucking democracy. It's a dictatorship.
Well, I mean, when they're your kids, it's also different.
But I don't,
because there are young people that I don't want to fucking rip their heads off and shit down their necks. But
my point is, even a valedictorian of the next graduating class, smart as fuck, right?
Yeah,
still a fucking moron. They have no life experience.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, they might have a point of view that's worthwhile depending on the topic,
but they have no life experience.
Yeah, like if you're talking about if I'm trying to find out the value of a tangent,
it's
like a problem, yeah, then I might take your fucking
think
input.
of it like this. It's like me talking about war or battle to say a veteran. They don't want I can have an opinion and I can have some intelligent thoughts.
So it's like me talking about successfully pleasing women.
Yes.
Nobody wants to hear it because it's
never happened before.
It's just not a thing.
Time. Yeah. But I can have an opinion on war.
Or like me talking
battle,
about having solid shits.
Or what it's like to be in battle, but no, it's just theory. That motherfucker lived it. He doesn't want to hear my shit. Kind of what I'm saying. Just like why I don't like watching football in bars.
Yeah.
Because I'm surrounded by a bunch of morons that play junior high football, watch ESPN, and think they know fucking
I'm going to
something.
sit there and talk about it, and they're going to be like, you've never been to war. I'll be like, it's a war every time I try to wrestle my dick out of my pants to take a piss.
But I just, if a 9-year-old came to me and said, what? Okay, well, we'll look into it. But I'm going to look into it, but I'm not going to say it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just facts. Like,
I need some evidence.
I just said that the other day. Like, that's why, like, I don't want to say I don't like kids, but I'm just not that good with kids because I don't know how to get on their level. I love babies. Babies are awesome.
They are fucking awesome. They don't talk.
Like, the worst thing they do is shit and piss, like, and throw up, which really not that bad because it's small.
It's like I love my kids, but the day it went downhill, the day they started talking.
Oh yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I love babies.
Then they become little shits.
And then they get to be like 3, 4, 5 years old, and they're like, hey, Travis, for like the 7th time, and I'm like, What's up, bud? Like I went to school today, and then at school we played on the playground at recess, and then we had lunch, and then Johnny threw up because Johnny had too much chocolate milk, and then we took a nap, and then I came home and I did my homework, and I showed my mom, and she said good job, and I went outside, and and Timmy was there, and Timmy's a vampire, and vampires like Pop-Tarts. And so then I went home for dinner, and for dinner my mom gave me my favorite drink, and I said, this is my favorite drink because it tastes like purple, and purple's my favorite. And I'm like, purple's not a fucking flavor, you stupid little shitbag.
But the point of that story is, if he said that back in 1692, they would have went and found Timmy.
By the time he was done, like, and then I peed so I wouldn't pee in my bed, somebody'd be in jail.
They would have went and found Timmy.
He'd still be sitting there talking, but and they'd be coming back arresting somebody.
Timmy's little ass would be in jail for being a vampire.
Yeah,
that's what went on in Salem in 1692.
Yeah.
Okay, continue. Where are we at?
I don't even know.
Oh fuck! What else we got? We got.
I don't know. We're knocking out the Salem witch trial faster than I thought.
I know we're gonna. Corey.
Oh, do you have anything about John Proctor writing the Clergy in Boston?
I didn't. I know. I
just think it's funny. Like, you don't fucked up. It's bad. It makes no sense when somebody writes the Clergy, and they actually kind of a major city, and they actually kind of make a move to try to nip something in the bud, but it's too late because John Proctor had been executed by that point.
Yeah, it didn't.
It's bad.
They didn't have email at that
when
time.
Basically
travel.
Well, it's bad when basically I would assume that would be basically the equivalent of an archdiocese,
right?
If it wasn't a colony, still, when they want to be like, hey, you guys might want to chill out with this shit.
Slow your roll, boys.
Yeah. You might want to take 2 steps back, pull the fucking the ergot out of your butthole,
and we'll get into that.
Yeah, I think that had like a potentially and maybe had a 1% involvement.
When we get to once we get through some of these interesting characters, we'll kind of talk about causes.
God, you fucking stink tonight, Chalupa.
She farting?
I don't know. It ain't me.
You never know.
Maybe she's dying.
Probably is. She's old. But no.
Everybody
let's talk about
this.
Giles,
like, what a bunch of pieces of shit.
Martha Corey.
God damn, dog. Yeah.
She was, but her husband is the real story.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, I heard everybody say it, but I stand by my guns on this. It's Giles.
It's Giles.
Like, I heard a bunch of people Giles. Like, no, it's Giles. But that shit is like, what's up, Jimena Ortega?
Hey,
that's
how
a
you
new
doing?
one.
Hey, welcome to the party.
The thing with Giles Corey is like, he's not even super relevant because of anything major. He's just super relevant
because he's a badass.
Yeah, he's just super relevant because they broke the long arm of the law, quote unquote, off in his asshole.
But this is a perfect example of going after the whole family. His wife was accused. Naturally, they went after the husband.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about this earlier. If you pleaded guilty, they took your land and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You got to live, but they took everything from you.
Yeah. He was a badass in a good way. He was a badass he was a good family man, dad, motherfucker way.
He was older. He was like, I think he was in his 70s. I think he was older.
Then why did he care anyway? It was 1692. He was probably going to die the next day anyway.
Well, see, that's a misconception.
The torture might have actually kept him alive longer because it kept his body together.
Every podcast I listen to on this, they talk about, he died so young. People lived to be in the 80s back then too.
Not as regularly.
No, they did. But what brought it down was the infant deaths. Once you made it past 10, 11, you were good. But so many young babies died, it brought down it's called average. We paid attention in math class. People lived to be 60, 70, 80s back then. But so many kids died at birth, that brings down the fucking average to like 40.
Well, it was a smaller population.
Right. But that's people think people lived 30 years, you were fucking done. No, people live to be 70, just like they do.
Well, and like with the smaller population, yeah, it's going to be a higher percentage of people dying at a younger age because one person represents more of a of
Right.
the population.
And there was, you had the smallpox and all certain things that cause people to fucking die.
Only on blankets.
the black
Only
plague.
on the blankets that we gave to the I don't even want to call them Native Americans because they're not Native Americans. They're just the originals. They're the OGs.
No, geez.
Everybody, I was talking about that, and somebody was like, why wouldn't they want to be called Native Americans? Because it wasn't fucking America until we came along. Before that, it was whatever their particular tribe called the land.
But anyway, Giles, like I said, they took your land. He said, fuck it, I ain't pleading. And they couldn't send you. That's one thing. They did have a rule. You had to plead before they send you to trial. And he said,
God forbid.
He said, I ain't pleading shit.
You got to
bitches.
plea. We have to get a plea out of you to before we can send you to trial, but we can fucking torture you to get the plea.
But that, he said, before you get a trial, you had to say not guilty. Naturally guilty, they worked out a deal with you. But not guilty, they sent you to trial and then hung your ass. But he said, no, I'm not pleading. Fuck you guys. So they couldn't take his land because he was never found guilty.
What if they spoke in Old English? Eat mine cock, you pieces of shit. I shan't tell you what you want to hear.
But they did have part of the punishment. You got tortured for it.
Yeah.
Now, what they did to old Giles,
they butt fucked him into submission.
No.
That's what I would have done.
They laid him down and I guess they put a board over him and started putting stones on him.
Yeah.
And this motherfucker was a badass, 70-year-old badass motherfucker. You know what he kept saying? More weight. Bring it, bitches. He just kept saying, bring it. More.
I heard that was the last thing he was actually able to say before he suffocated was more weight.
And I guess even the sheriff or whatever they're called back then, even at one point stood on the fucking board himself.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Probably then I also heard that when he had almost was about to die or already died, he used his cane and stuck his tongue back in his mouth.
Right. Yeah.
It was add more stones.
Yeah. The tongue, I guess when pressure pushed his tongue out and he just put it back in. But he never they couldn't take his land.
And he literally did all that just because he knew if he pled that he knew that his kids wouldn't get his estate. Because he had a rather sizable estate. Amerigo Vespucci.
What the fuck?
That's what America's named after.
Oh.
For the most, kind of.
Okay.
Obviously with some translation issues.
I don't care.
Ameristop. We're named after a gas station.
Wait, welcome will be named Thornton's.
The great country of Thorntons.
Circle K.
Man, this city is alive with sirens tonight.
Fuck. The Salem witch trials have come to Hamilton.
If it's the Salem meth trials, I'm cool with it. The Hamilton meth trials.
Yes. So what else you got?
Hamilton.
We've got Giles, So not everybody was pleading.
Because like I said, this is a bitch of a story because it jumps around so fucking much.
We're going to get to the conclusion here soon and then give our opinions.
I got Giles Corey. After Giles Corey's whole thing, he died. I don't have a fucking date on that, but he died, and then in late September of that same year, Spectral Evidence was finally declared inadmissible.
Oh yes, we didn't get to that. They used spectral evidence up to that point.
Yeah, which if you don't know what spectral evidence is,
buckle up, kids. It's
Jesus
fucking
Christ,
crazy right about now.
Literally, you can say that you had a premonition, a dream, a fucking daydream. You can say that you saw the figure of somebody or dreamt about them doing something to you, and that was admissible evidence in a court of law.
Yes, basically. The way I believe they classify it as the spirit of the witch.
Yeah. I could say I had a dream that that Phil butt fucked me. I almost said that Bill putt fucked me.
Are you sure it was a fucking dream?
But it's been a dream for a long time.
My specter came.
But that
in more ways than one.
Hey, but there was a potential that if I said that in 1692, first off, they'd be like, what is butt fucking?
Oh, I'm
sure. You mean he fornicated your anus?
Oh, come on.
I just think it's the language they would not understand.
Okay.
What is this fucking you speak of? I don't understand. I knew a Charles fucking in Westminster, but like that could potentially be brought up and take you to court for me being like, I dreamt that he fucked me.
I'd be taken to court
That's what I'm saying.
for rape.
That's what I'm saying.
Do what? The man had a wet dream about me, and I'm getting thrown in prison.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what the fuck?
that a
Like the
bitch.
fact, like I understand that it was 1692, but holy fucking god, that
Makes
was
sense.
really a fucking thing.
Makes perfect sense to me.
What do we want to throw in? October 29th of that year, the court of Oyer and Terminer was dismissed, and the remaining people in the jail were tried by the Superior Court of Judicature.
Okay.
Judicature. I didn't know that was a fucking word. Remaining prisoners were found not guilty, and the governor pardoned the rest from prison.
Well, you know what happened? What I heard. I don't know how true this is, but apparently
Phil heard directly because he was there.
I was. Look how old I am. Apparently the governor's. This might be. Don't quote me on this. I heard this. The governor's wife was accused of witchcraft.
Yes,
and
I have that.
He said, "Oh, hold the phone. What? Okay,
I have that.
Maybe this shit has gotten out of hand."
Yes, Governor Phipps ordered to end the trials when his wife was accused, and no shit.
Yeah, he said,
no
"Okay."
Shit.
Got a little close to home. He said, "Okay, fun games are
Oh,
over."
it's all fine. It's all good and dandy when it's other fucking people, and I'm probably making money off this somehow, some way. But when it affects my life,
Yes.
we got a problem.
So
You fucking cock knocker piece of shit,
They-
fuck bag.
it went to the hierarchy, and they said, "Okay, time to put a stop to this shit."
Yeah.
You fuckers have went a little batshit crazy, but that's how it fucking ended. Now, in 1695, the Quaker Thomas Moall publicly criticized handling the trials by the Puritan leaders, because I guess the Quakers and the Puritans didn't get along too well. I guess they had a little crazy rivalry because they were both batshit fucking crazy.
Yeah, still are. Well, I mean, the Quakers. I don't understand the Quakers' belief system, but they're not. They don't hurt anybody.
But also, here's what I got a kick out of.
Well,
December 17th, 1696, the General Court ruled that there was to be a day of fast on January 14th of 1997 or 1697, referring to the late tragedy. They were going to fast. What is this, fucking Lent?
Ramadan.
Don't eat because we killed fucking 25
Yeah,
fucking
what is
people.
it with religions and not eating?
I don't know. Fucking crazy. No, apparently they did give some reparations, and
I would fucking
pay
hope
out a
so.
little bit to the families.
Jesus Christ.
For murdering 25 most likely innocent people. Even though I'm sure there was some manifestation rituals being going on. There might have been some West Memphis 3 orgies going on in the woods.
Did you read anything about the door-to-door witch hunting they were doing?
No.
They were literally like people, like they would go door to door and basically just ask people to snitch on whoever they thought was committing witchcraft. That was one of their investigative techniques. No wonder they put, because you're talking like a town of like 500 or so people. So by the time this is all said and done, like you actually have you have like half the fucking town in fucking prison.
I heard like 1,000 people between the two towns. I heard like 2,000 people between the two towns.
Either way, even if it's 2,000, that's 10% of your population has been executed or jailed.
I would think that would be high.
Yeah, it's got to be.
I would say it'd be more like 600.
Yeah, you would think there was 2,000 people in the United States from Europe at the time.
Well, I think it'd be a little bit higher than that, but say 600 people. That's almost a third of the people were accused.
No, Jerry Driver shouldn't have been in Salem. Jerry Driver should have been shoved back up his mom's asshole, never to be returned onto this earth again. That fucking dipshit.
Oh, here we go.
Shit. Fuck Jerry Driver. I'm gonna Jerry drive my dick in his ass.
For those of you listening, Jerry Driver was
an idiot that was
a probation or
a guy that had no fucking place doing what he did. He was a juvenile probation officer.
Juvenile probation officer in West Memphis. For the West Memphis 3 case that really had a hard on for the 3 boys.
He wears black. He's the devil.
And he listens to Metallica.
Oh, and what else? What else do we have? 2 dogs were killed.
Yeah, that's what. Like I said earlier, fuck, I don't give a fuck how many women.
2 dogs were killed, suspected of witchcraft.
They killed 2 dogs because they thought they were witches. Now, how fucked up is our people in Massachusetts to where you hang dog or kill dogs for being witches? Have they not seen a fucking cat?
Well, and also, the witch cake, the piss cakes?
Yes, basically flour and shit and rye and fucking piss
of the afflicted person.
Did
you see that was a test they did with the people and with the dogs?
Yeah, they give them to the dogs, and
if you showed the symptoms of the afflicted person, that person was then accused of witchcraft.
Right. Yeah.
Which,
by the way,
as we were saying earlier, it's made of piss and rye. And on top of all that, what was infected rye distributing to people potentially? Ergot.
Poisoning, yes.
And possibly causing convulsive ergotism, which ergot is a fungus that grows on rye when it spoils, and it is really crazy. Apparently, the drug LSD is a derivative of ergot.
Now, this theory popped up.
And there was an ergot spoil thing going on in the area at the time.
Right.
So
that was
I'm not putting it all on that, but I would almost put money that 1 or 2 people got locked up probably because of that.
That was in the 70s. That theory was really made popular, and
yeah, I would imagine that 1 or 2 people probably got in some trouble because of ergot.
It has been, some people say it's been disproven because of there are a lot of symptoms that come along with ergot. With that, hallucinations are one, cramping, and like the original encounter with the 2 girls, Parrish and Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Their fits almost kind of make sense. Yeah. Maybe they had a little ergot, but
that's what I'm saying. A couple of people, I would almost, like I said, even without knowing the stories of everybody, I would say at least a couple people probably got hemmed up in this because of that.
But I think some of the symptoms do fit, but for long term, for people to have for the amount of people that would have had to have.
This is why we need fucking Gonzo here.
I guess you retracted it.
Huh.
But to have a whole town in all the kids, and it was kind of hit and miss. Now, I will say this: maybe that initial shock was they were having some, hallucination from ergot, but then they got all the attention.
Yeah,
they were getting so much attention, and they liked it.
Because I'm on board with who was it, John Proctor or whoever the fuck it was. I think those original girls were just full of shit.
Right. And
I think they were just playing games that they didn't understand the severity of.
They were bored. They didn't have much to do. Plus, their overly religious parents were cockbagged.
And we also never talked about my favorite torture technique of this whole thing. It was used in other places. The Heretics Fork. You never seen that?
No, what is it?
They used it a lot during this, and they've used it a lot during history. It was a piece of metal that had a bi-pronged fork basically on each end, and they would put it under your chin and then on the nape of your chest and strap it to your neck,
right,
so that you could not move. And if they felt necessary, they might walk up and just grab you by the hair and start pushing your head down to force a confession out of you.
Huh.
Yeah. But yeah, that was always my thing with this whole fucking thing is if you want my personal opinion, you had some little girls doing some shit that they didn't understand what they were doing. They were just doing some shit because I don't know if they were having fun or they wanted attention. They were trying to get rid of somebody on behalf of their parents, probably. And I also think it was just kind of a haphazard way for a large established church to get a major foothold in a new country that was still almost arguably not even in its infancy. It was almost still fucking prenatal. We were basically just now forming any type of civilization on waterways.
Right.
We were basically Vikings just staying for a couple months until we ended up staying for however many years. Because a lot of these people came from the Mayflower. It was like, oh, the 1492. No, we didn't populate America in 1492. We didn't do it for quite some time after that.
I mean, this, in my opinion, we'll go ahead and we're winding her down now.
Yeah, this was a quick episode. Thank God, because it took us 30 fucking minutes to get the live stream to work.
Yeah, no shit.
Good job, Jimena. You missed that bullshit.
There is something about hysteria.
Oh, yeah.
And when, like what I spoke about earlier in the episode, there was so much going on. These people were having so many issues. They were under so much stress. Just going to a new world is stressful. And then you have the possibility of Native American attacks.
Yeah.
The ending of the French and Indian War, the French War, having, those people come down from Canada, having your charter revoked. There was so much uncertainty. These people were scared. And if we learned anything, if we know anything about human behavior, when we are scared, we don't think rationally.
Well, and then you throw in the fact that it was a very small-minded time.
Well, I think that's human nature. When we are scared, we can ignore facts.
Yeah.
I say the word?
And like I said, and there was just less facts. Like we're dealing with people who still wondered where the fucking sun went at night.
No, it doesn't even matter. Let's talk about present day, 2020, 2021. People are scared, and facts don't matter right now.
Oh yeah, no, like it's still a thing.
It's still a thing.
I'm just saying, you make it you make it's easier, and it can go to a further extreme when you throw in the fact that they were dumber.
I mean,
not even dumber. They just didn't know the facts of the world as we know them today.
Right, but
it's like I said, I feel like they were all like,
but I think
have fun escaping from Lucifer's hole, son. I shall see ye in 8 hours.
I mean, look at the Satanic Panic.
Same thing. It was the same fucking thing.
This was a modern day witch trial.
And what did I say about it? I said the same fucking thing about that. The West Memphis 3. The whole thing with the West Memphis 3 and Satanic Panic, all that was it got blown out of proportion because somebody somewhere wanted it to. People in places wanted it to get blown out of proportion because we were reaching a place in our society at the time of the West Memphis 3 and the Satanic Panic that the church was losing hold on the mass population again.
Right.
And it happens all the time. There's always some type of a big fucking breakdown whenever the masses start to shy away from blindly following the church and the government.
And look at the area. A dirt poor area.
Yeah, in the South, in Arkansas.
People who don't have a lot of hope are easily frightened. They go and they can be convinced of anything and just to grasp onto something.
Yeah.
And like I said, look at today's society. People are scared to death of the global pandemic, even though...
Well, there's a new variant again.
Which, here's the thing. The person who found it basically even said, it's
the same.
It's more mild than all the other ones, but people, I've already started talking about shutting fucking down again. I mean, it's because people are fucking scared, which I guess, whatever. But when people get scared, facts don't fucking matter. I can't read all that.
I got it.
They don't think rationally, and facts don't matter. And these people were scared to death. And this popped up, and it gave them something. And
that's all any of it is.
Right. And they did not care. Now,
like I said, it still blows me away because just with this pandemic shit, I'm a young buck compared to like where we go. Ow, like where I work and if we hang out where we hang out and shit, I'm a young buck. Even though I'm getting to the point where I'm not. I look at a good handful of people there and I'm like, you young fucking dumb stupid fucking letting your dick and your fucking twatopus looking leech everywhere you go, doing everything you decide to do. But it fucking kills me because like still I'll be 32 in 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks. And fucking, I get poo-pooed and people look at me like I'm crazy when I have something to say. I said it with the pandemic before they shut everything down. I was like, I walked through and I was like, man, this is, and I said this last time I said this, I'm not making a direct comparison, but I walked through and I was like, man, this is like somebody sprinkling the spice of what they did with the Jews in Germany when they started giving curfews and making people wear masks and talking about vax cards and shit like that. And then sure as shit, the vaccination comes out and they start talking about cards before it was approved.
I know.
And I said it again. And the same people that were like, oh, you can't say that. The same people were like, mm-hmm. And I'm like, I said that fucking 8 months ago and you said I was crazy.
It's all about power. And when you get people, you want to take power from somebody or have power over somebody, get them scared to fucking death.
She's happy that I said her name right.
Well, those are very, how'd you say her name?
Jimena Ortega.
Well, thank you. That is a very kind word. We are glad you like us.
Good thing
We have one.
Está bien, soy de Texas. Hablo un pequeño español, pinche cabrone. Chupa mi culo, cabrón.
I'm not bilingual. I'm barely lingual.
I'm bilingual. He's bisexual. But not for men. For Bigfoots.
Yes, we've covered that. I want to be raped by Bigfoot.
God, I still can't believe that one. That one blew my mind.
I'm gonna have a threesome with Bigfoot and an alien.
Well, then there's the fucking guy that claims Bigfoot mental raped him on multiple occasions. I forget his name.
Spectre rape.
Yeah, I was like, is he fake raping you, or are you just having wet dreams about getting butt fucked by Bigfoot?
Right.
And if that's so, just fucking go find Shaq and have him put on a fucking gorilla outfit. I would imagine dimensionally they got to be close to the same size.
Yeah, I guess.
It's the closest you're going to
7'1". Yeah.
It's okay. Dimensionally, it's the closest you're going to get to a human the size of a Bigfoot. Because he's also built like a goddamn refrigerator.
Yes, he's large and in charge.
I'll tell you what. I got down there with Kobe, and then me and Kobe won some rings. And then I left the Lakers, and I went to Miami. It's better than fucking Chuck, though. Nah, I want the defense in the bottom. Like, oh my God, Charles Barkley is like It's like listening to nails on a chalkboard while the teacher from Charlie Brown talks, while two like deaf mute pigs fuck each other in the corner.
Yes, I think we can probably wrap this up unless you want to just shoot the shit with these guys for a while.
I don't know. I'm kind of tired. I'm not gonna lie. Not to fucking rain on anybody's parade, but it's been a long couple of weeks.
I think so. We might as well just plan on doing Tuesdays for the next.
It might change sooner than later. I got another body coming in that can probably work the shift that I'm having to bite on top of my Monday shift that I already work. Because that's the problem. Is like, it's like you and I talked about it. We could potentially do Monday nights, but we'd have to do them late.
Yeah.
And I'm only working like a shift and a half, but I'm working my whole normal shift without any help. Therefore, I am taking any phone calls from to do any managerial shit, cooking all the food, opening the place, doing all the prep work, putting in a food order, all that shit by myself until somebody comes in, and then I have somebody once all that's done. So by the time I get off, it would not behoove us to do it that night, because even going home and taking a shower, I would not be in the fucking mental space to do this shit.
Let's plan on Tuesdays for
I'd say at least another week.
At least another week. Next Tuesday, we'll be back next Tuesday. However, I will say this: if we get a chance to maybe do a bonus episode before that, or whatever.
Yeah.
If we get a free hour or so to do a bonus, we might do a bonus episode or something.
I can do maybe Thursday and maybe Saturday or Sunday, one or the other. I can't remember which.
Maybe
day.
It's not. We'll definitely be back next Tuesday. Oh, okay, I'm tired.
Yeah. Fuck, if I work a normal shift on Sunday, I might just be down to do the show Sunday next week.
You mean this Sunday? Well, I tell you what.
We'll figure that.
Well,
That's not a conversation
If
to
we
have here.
do a Sunday, we'll just make it a shit show.
I was gonna say that's not a conversation to have on.
Oh,
Well, I mean, yeah, we can't. I don't really give a
let our
fuck.
fans know about this shit. But we'll definitely for sure be back next Tuesday, hopefully at 8:00, barring any kind of
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
internet issues like we had
God, my
tonight.
hair is fucking awful. I can't wait to get my hair cut tomorrow.
Yes, I know.
I can actually I can pull it. This is bad. Trevi doesn't keep hair like this.
I know. I don't know what topic we'll do. Maybe we'll just do a shit show next week. Paranormal headlines. I really think we need to do either a UFO or a cryptid. We have not done a UFO or cryptid in a while.
We can kind of just do an all-encompassing one on those.
Hey, that's hurtful, Jamie. Where have you
Talking
been
that
all night?
shit.
You coming late, throwing smack around.
Yeah, you talk all that shit until you come out.
Hey,
Until you walk out to your car in the morning, there's a big human fucking shit in your front yard.
and if you're gonna talk smack, don't use emojis. That's the candy ass way of doing it. But
Yeah, what are you, 17?
for those of you listening on either Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and Spotify
Podbean,
now,
whatever.
the video is on Spotify now.
It
It's
is.
Yes, so if you listen on Spotify, there should be a video, or this video that these people are watching right now on there. That's what takes me so long to get it up, because exporting that shit sucks major ass.
And unfortunately, we don't have the fucking filters or whatever the fuck they're called to overlay the Patreon and shit like that. But we have a Patreon.
But they will be in the video.
When you re-upload it?
Well, because I have to edit it anyway. I can add them when I edit it anyway and export it. But I just can't do it manually on here. Hopefully, we'll get the OBS situation taken care of by next week.
Jesus fuck. It's either that or we're gonna spend money on Pro Tools.
Actually, I don't mind this that much. I can always add the shit later.
God, my hair looks so bad.
But if you're listening to us on the audio feed, be sure to go to youtube.com/GITN or no, Ghost in the Night, and be sure to subscribe to the YouTube page. Be sure to follow us, rate, review, all that happy shit, and be sure to like our videos, all that stuff that goes a long way to helping us grow the podcast and get the message out there. Also, you want to support the podcast? What in the
No, I'm just passing the time while you talk.
If you want to support the podcast, we do have a Patreon where we do bonus episodes. We do a horror movie review show, which we might do that we can almost do over the phone.
And you've got a big ass TV to do it on now.
Oh yeah, we have a big ass TV to do it on now. Satan. If you want to support the podcast, get access to this bonus, the bonus material, bonus episodes, and some investigation type stuff, go to patreon.com/GITN podcast. And for a mere $2, that gets you all the bonus content that we do produce.
And hopefully, you never know, we might have some new merch dropping soon. I'm working on some sticker designs.
Yeah, we're working on it. We got new logo. You're gonna start noticing some backdrop shit.
I started working on a logo. It got really dark.
So that's going to wrap up this episode. I know it was a little shorter, but we had the technical issues. We will, like I said,
our length comes from the structure usually, and it was just, dude, I found it impossible to structure my notes on this
because everything was so fucking connected.
Yes, as soon as I got to the next subject, it was like, well, now that we're talking about this person, go back 3 months, and there you go. No, it's not me. Me will be tomorrow after 12 p.m. when I can finally get my fucking haircut. It's been over a month.
I know. I'll tell you what.
And for those of you who don't know me personally, that's 5 ever for me. I'm very anal about my hair and my butt fucking.
He likes anal.
I got a heartburn.
He's like Aleister Crowley. He's a power bottom. All right. But we really do appreciate everybody that joined us in the live stream. So if you're listening to us on your audio feed, also come in, find out, follow us on social media, Ghost in the Night. What is it? at @night_ghost on Twitter. What is it on
Ghost _
or
night _ podcast.
Twitter, or on Instagram, GITN.podcast on TikTok, which we're going to start. We got a couple up there. We're going to get more. We got some. We just have to load them up. What in the holy Salem's lot fucking hell are you doing?
It's like I have a high top.
Okay, kid. Does that make me play? Or is it no? Play with head to hair. Kid.
I haven't seen fucking what was it, house party in so goddamn long.
All right, but we do really appreciate you guys who join us in the live stream and interact with us on the chat. We enjoy talking to you. We enjoy the love that you send us. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week.
Don't feed people piss cakes, or if you think that's gross, some magical things had to do with period blood and pies and cakes and shit.
That's
never forget that.
We left that out of the Aleister Crowley issue.
Never forget that. The fucking bitches that started the Salem witch trials did 9/11.
No, Proctor did 9/11.
Never forget.
Oh no, it was the kids. That's right, 9/11. Yeah.
Hashtag never forget.
All right. You ready? Can we get out here, Toby Keith, now?
Yeah, I need a cigarette.
All right. Take care. We love you guys.
End.